think it's really important for the simple fact that there are a lot of people that don't have transportation to get to and from in this community. And when I grew up here, we're on Yuma Street right now, but up on Pierre, which was 2 blocks up, we used to have a public bus system where you could catch the bus and go different places. So to have that come back in Manhattan after all these years, I think it's very important because there's a lot of people that this is the only way they can get around. Once upon a time, this whole south quarter of Manhattan, Kansas was all African American. From about 14th Street all the way down to 2nd Street, which is where the Hilton is, and this whole south quarter town was all African American. This is the home of George Giles, and Mr. Giles was was originally from Junction City, but he lived here in Manhattan. He was a baseball player, played for the Kansas City Monarchs, many of the Negro baseball teams. I know he played on several, but I know he played for the Monarchs. But he also, here in Manhattan, had this house, and he also had a hotel, which was located a block south of here. And but what he did, back in those days, when dignitaries came to Manhattan, Kansas, they couldn't stay at the hotels. But black people could not stay in hotels back in those days. So if you know anything about the Green Book was the book that was put out that told black people where it was safe to stay back in those days. Well, this house was one of those places. And so Mr. Giles, he housed several dignitaries here. I know Lena Horne came here, Jackie Robinson was here, Joe Lewis was here. And I was young at the time, but this is where those people stayed when they came to Manhattan because they couldn't stay at hotels. So there were 2 big hotels in my time that I remember, the Gillette and the Wareham, but black people could not stay in those hotels back in those days, and this is one of the places where they were able to stay. Well, right now we're standing at 1231 Yuma. This was the home that I grew up in. My father, Jesse Baker, was my mom, Lucille, raised 9 children here. My father was a legend in Manhattan, Kansas. He was one of the original founders of the youth baseball program back in the day. And there's a ballpark in City Park named after my dad. But this is where my family resided. And here on Yuma Street, we still own, my brother and I still own the home. And so everybody says it's a historical home, probably because of my dad. And so I'm very proud to still be here and have it. We're standing right now in front of 1015 Yuma, and this is the house that Earl Woods grew up in. And his sisters, Hattie Bell Woods and Lillian were my grade school teachers at the Douglas School. But I knew Earl quite well because he was the first black baseball player at K-State. And when I was young, in probably the 1st, 2nd grade, they played baseball at Griffith Field, which is only a couple blocks away. And I used to go to the ballpark every evening and to baseball practice. And of course, Earl was the catcher for K-State baseball, which was played right here a couple blocks away.